Okay, how about what do people want to know about? What are you interested to know about? Do you want to give me what DarkFi is? So it's like a stack. It has a blockchain. Um, it's but it's like all the stack. The blockchain is made for strong anonymity. So and then on the blockchain you have anonymous payments. You have anonymous DAOs. You have anonymous markets. You know, you can do everything. You have anonymous chat. You have anonymous organization. So um, that means if you want to mobilize with a group of people and, you know, let's say you're in North Korea or something and they're putting your friends in jail and you want to mobilize to create free society, what do? You need to create a treasury, you need to pull capital and direct it collectively. You need to be able to like fund people, communicate, plan, organize. You need to be able to pay people out. They need to be able to cash the money out, OTC, etc. So DarkFi is like all of that stuff. So, and yeah, and everything's completely anonymous. Like, you know, in the DAO, the treasury is anonymous, the participants are anonymous, the voting is anonymous. There is like privacy. Okay, there is anonymity or there is no anonymity. There's no like middle ground. You know, like a lot of people trying to say there's different degrees of privacy. That's not true, especially today with AI. You know, now you need like just a full anonymity set because AI will defeat, you know, like people trying to say like, oh, Bitcoin's private or something because of like CoinJoin and stealth addresses. That's bullshit. Like you need strong anonymity. And the thing with AI is that it is determined by who controls the hardware, because the people with the hardware run the better AIs. And yes, it's like convenient now, but basically we are inputting our projects and the things that we're working on into the AI, and therefore we're training the AI, and all the people that own the AIs have to do is put a million X compute or 100 million X compute and just rip off your ideas and spin up competitors. So, and it's like, so yeah, basically the people that have the hardware is the nation states, the superpowers, the giant mega corporations. So they're the ones that are, have the asymmetric power with the AI, and they're also using it to make the military more efficient, etc., you know, drones and stuff. That's why cryptography is math. It's like Mother Nature power, because you know the nature is like based off mathematics, or at least like it's the language of nature, and you know, so therefore when we're doing cryptography, we're making use of like deep mathematical truths to create spells that we cast that protect society or that expand the space of freedom, enlarge the space of freedom. So that's like a deep power because it's fundamentally asymmetric. Like, it doesn't matter how much force, you know, like the libertarians have this, in America they have this idea that because of we will use the guns to defend society against tyranny. Cryptography is also like a form of power like that. So it's quite interesting. There's this AI versus AI crypto axis kind of. So yeah, and in DarkFi we just released our testnet. So you know, if you're interested to know about DarkFi, you should just go run the testnet. It's got the applications there. Now we're going towards the mainnet, and also we're developing an app, and I think what happened with crypto is, or cryptocurrency is, it was meant to create a different paradigm, but it failed because it got captured by the same Silicon Valley mindset. And so basically it kind of like lost its like, because it wanted to create something that's different, but if it still ended up falling into the same economics of it, which is that, you know, like, oh, you come up with like an MVP and you send and you use that MVP to get capital, and then the capital, you use it to like acquire people, like to, you know, like to you know, like fund community and stuff, and then and then you like pay marketers, and you know, and then therefore it's like, yeah, it gets like locked into that same thing. Yeah, sorry, what do you want to ask?
I think something that sounds unique is that it's a blockchain, but there's also chat, and there's chat. There's like some chat room infrastructure where just people who want to speak to each other. How is that related to the blockchain part? Or what I mean is are the messages published on the chain? This is something different than
No, it has private, it has encrypted DMs. Everybody's completely anonymous on the chat. It's a very strong anonymity. But yeah, you said like, why do you need that? Why do you need that? Why do you need data storage? Like, for example, DHT network, which we have that as well. Why do you need that stuff? Well, if you want to create anonymous application where people can buy and sell over the internet, you need some way that people can communicate. You need some way that people can host web pages with content where you have a directory where you can look stuff up. But it needs to be completely anonymous. And ideally, you want to integrate it with your like blockchain, your cryptocurrency infrastructure. You know, that's like Signal, they made like mobile coin, but they didn't do anything with it. You should be able to send, they didn't really like use it in the app, you know. So I think that's why that mobile coin didn't succeed, you know. But okay, no questions. What questions do people have? What's this?
Worried about finding the videos?
Huh?
Do you worry about finding the videos or not?
Do I worry about what?
Finding the videos?
Oh, quantum computers. No, I don't, to be honest, personally. I mean, every quantum article, if you see it, just control F coherence. And if they don't mention it, it's garbage. That's like the big issue, is the coherence. And right now, this is like my opinion, so whatever. But right now, the production of semiconductors is literally one pipeline that goes across the entire world, TSMC, Taiwan, etc. There is no redundancy or duplication in that. So literally all of the inputs of human civilization are already, that production of semiconductors is already the peak of like human civ, like what we're able to achieve. So if you imagine quantum computers is going to require so many people working together, it would be like impossible to keep that a secret. And it would be like a long period of time where we'll know about this stuff. It can take like a really long ass time, like maybe 50 years, maybe much longer, you know. That's, yeah.
I mean, so I'm guessing since you try to use a lot of cryptographic computation behind the scenes, like maybe especially, and then also maybe some post-quantum things. So how does it scale actually when you want to use it in actual financial infrastructure with, you know, loads of financial transactions happening, and then the resources required to sustain it for a long time?
Yeah, so scaling, I think actually with ZK, you can do something called a stateless blockchain. And I think that's the most efficient blockchain that can exist. Potentially, we can also have like true cross-chain bridging with ZK as well. So that's like holy grail of blockchains.
Which you are testing in alpha, like what are the like KPIs or currency of that?
Right now, it just depends on the block size, what block size we want to put. There's like a trade-off with decentralization. So
You know where you want to hit on that trade? Are you hoping that people can run it on home infrastructure, can run those on home infrastructure? Like, is it the block big and maybe you need a really strong computer?
yeah, I don't know. Like ideally, you want it to be fast, you know, like and cheap to use, but you also want it decentralized. So there's probably like a good balance there somewhere. I think hardware is not such an issue.
Have you thought about using Ethereum or Bitcoin? With some
Garbage, I'm sorry. What anonymity you can do on Bitcoin?
Use it on top of Ethereum.
You can't. How? How do you pay for the fees? You have to use Bitcoin to pay the fees. So then you break your anonymity. It's impossible.
You could use already, you could have everything coming out of it to make certain protocols. So on Ethereum, for instance, you could pay for the fees with funds that are sitting inside the burner cache. So you could do interactions with funds that pop out. You said, for instance, CoinJoin and stealth addresses. It's not enough. It can't give you anything on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe not even maybe like. What if you're using funds, if all the funds are constantly popping out of CoinJoin only the stealth addresses and back into CoinJoin, why won't that ever work to give real evidence?
It's garbage. It's literally not anonymous. It's literally, you might as well do nothing than do a CoinJoin. It's literally the same thing. That's how bad we're talking about in terms of privacy.
Doesn't even use, so then now you replace CoinJoin with Tornado Cash, which is zero value proofs in the middle. Because CoinJoin's not, right?
I think we should be, I'm optimizing for a global adversary on the internet. Like how big is your threat model, really?
Something which is fully anonymous but niche.
You know what's interesting as well? Like, so NIM is Mixnet, and they, but they have all these countermeasures for different things that different governments do in different countries. So it's able to evade that censorship stuff. And right now, the majority of NIM customers is not in Western countries. It's in like other countries. That's like so interesting. That's like real adoption, you know.
So how is something which is fully anonymous but niche and possibly more expensive, what is the path for that to grow big enough to be, you know, challenge capital or Bitcoin or whatever is established at the moment?
So the thing is when Bitcoin started, there were those of us who thought that Bitcoin was to create a new economic paradigm, but there were also other people that they thought Bitcoin was just something to make credit card payments cheaper, because back then Bitcoin fees were really cheap, and also because they were being subsidized by the block reward. But the issue with that is because that's like a huge mistake. If you're trying to sell Bitcoin as an alternative to credit card payments, you've already lost. You know, like why the people that do things with credit cards are perfectly happy doing them with credit cards. Not why people are going to use Bitcoin, you know. And it's like similar thing with cryptocurrency. That's what I meant. It like fell into this same trap where you're playing this economic game, and the way to optimize this economic game is by trying to copy what Google, Microsoft, Apple does, and therefore it also killed the ability of cryptocurrency to innovate or to properly understand like what are the actual things that it can do, to think expansively. And we're still waiting for that after so much long time, and it hasn't come. And I think and I know why that is because you're not going to. A lot people always ask me about these other projects, and I'm like, they're just not going to do those things. I know they're not going to do it. So it's like we can make this stuff. It was meant, but like people, I guess, assumed it would just happen, huh?
My question in another way: working in the clear, in compliance with all the current rules and structures, blah 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 blah, is less friction than doing things dark. It's always going to be less friction. It's always going to be easier. There's always going to be some people that are incentivized to choose it simply because it's cheaper, quicker, whatever. So, given that, what is the route to mass adoption of doing things anonymous and proofed against that system?
Well, that's why I said the NIM thing, because it's like, they're actually being used and adopted. That's a real thing. So I think that's like a huge, I think maybe we don't realize what's the big market. We're still thinking like, beggars, like slaves in a system.
So have an incentive to, we said we're in a trap with our silicon minds, and how do we get the larger society out of this trap at the start? Can you get society or bigger communities out without the economic gain?
You can. I think also we're in an interesting period now. We're seeing the breakup of globalism. We're seeing the emergence of like a multipolar world order. In between those cracks is like where we're going to see like a lot of change and competition between different ideas. And we're technologists. We're also participating in that development of stuff, and is I think also like actually ideas and like movements and philosophies have like played a huge role in technology. Like the hackers, they developed the internet, they developed the PC. They were like driven by certain ideas, and that's kind of like what crypto now is like feeling is like the loss of its moral core. It used to have like a sense of purpose or destiny. But it's like, okay, how do you actually manifest that? Well, you have to develop a strategy. It's like basically like any company or project you do, you need to have an objective, a clear objective of what you want to do. And from that, you develop a strategy, or you develop a roadmap with milestones, and you get people and you organize them around, you build a team and you like organize them and you achieve those milestones. It's just like it's like a very general pattern. Also religions do it. They like educate people in their ideas and stuff. So that's kind of like what crypto should be doing. But I think like you go to like an Ethereum conference and you see all these young people and they're just milling around. They've got like no place to go into. With their resources, they should be actually like developing their community, providing ways to educate young people, to like infuse them with ideas, etc. But they don't do that, so they really like, I think that's why Ethereum's suffering now, is because of that. And they're trying to like grasp for new random narratives, like And as not just Ethereum, but like loads of projects are doing this. They're just trying to like farm new narratives. And yeah.
Question I would say, like, from what I understand, I think DarkFi runs over Tor.
What?
Tor, right, under the hood. Like, you use Tor.
Actually, is multi-transport. So we have a NIM transport, we have a Tor one, we have TCP, we have Unix sockets. It can anything. Yeah.
That would have been my question. Why not use NIM? Because I also like what some of the primitive NIM uses. I think they are really good, especially with strings packaging, where it does multi-route hopping for it.
Yeah, I think technically they're better than Tor. Also, I think Tor's compromised because they started like shutting down all the dark web markets. It's quite sus. Okay, I'm around, let's, thanks. Thank you guys.